Hey, are we ready? Inshallah. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Beautiful sunny day.
MashaAllah.
Allah's
Excellent.
Akbar.
Okay, let's start, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali kulli wa sahbihi kulli ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa akhlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So we are continuing our journey of the Quran, and we are essentially covering the examples of um, categories about the Quran. And we cover 7 different categories in a way that how we define the Quran. And we're looking particularly the examples in the Quran in terms of how it provides universal principles, universal guidance on justice and social issues. And we began our journey 2 days ago on one particular concept, that's orphans. And we're going to continue today because the orphan we mentioned that in the Quran is repeated 23 times. If the Quran is just telling us to help the orphans, it does not need to repeat that many times. There must be much deeper meaning behind that. And in this regard, Dr. Ali is really helping us to see what are the deep meaning and message we can get it from this particular concept. Now, this is very, very essential. I think with that, I just want to really, mention one thing is it's relevant to the subjects. Yesterday after the program, I got several messages saying that one of our great scholars of this century, Professor Naqib Al-Attas from Malaysia, passed away. May Allah have mercy on him.
Rahmahullah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He's a
Now,
great man. Inshallah, Allah reward him with highest level in paradise. Inshallah. I really love this man. I
yeah,
really love him.
me too, me too. I read all of his work. I really like his, efforts. Now, one concept that in his writing attract my attention, I want to really bring here because it's very similar to what you're doing here. I see one of the most important concept that I learned from Al-Attas is adab. And he described the problem is the loss of adab. Now, but he defined adab very differently. The adab that we normally know is good manner, good behavior. It's all about how nice you could be, how, towards the others. But he defined adab in very deep manner. He says adab is first to recognize that everything is made and created in a very orderly manner. So it's a recognition of the order first. Second, he says that adab is to put everything in its right place. And putting everything in the right place has to start from our understanding of who is the creator, has to be started with understanding what is the creation, who we are. So, and he argues that to have this proper understanding and put everything in its right place is an adab, and we lost this adab, he argues. Now, when I read it, I was like, okay, you're getting this concept that I think I know the concept, but you are loading or you're unveiling the deep meaning behind this concept. And to me, when I read Al-Attas, all of hundreds of his page, this redefining the loss of adab and linking almost everything to that, it was a real treasure for me. What I see from all like we're doing is this session, I think this is almost 2/3 of the Ramadan is over. We are in the last 1/3 of Ramadan. During last 20 days, if we say what is the most valuable diamonds that we unearthed, I say this concept of orphan. If we can understand that, again, we started 2 days before, we're still into it. We hope that we can finish today. But if we really understand the deep meaning behind the concept of orphans in the Quran and relate to ourselves, I believe this will be as valuable as what Allah has contributed to our understanding of adab. So therefore, I want to really remember, Latas, and ask everyone to make dua for him. I truly love him. I love his works. I've been in Malaysia many times. I visited Istaq. I read all his work, and I think he was a kind of person, a kind of mind, a kind of soul, trying to really get us to get the deep gold and diamond from the Muslims' tradition, Islamic knowledge tradition, and Quranic treasure. And I think that's really our goal as well with Dr. Ali. And let's start, inshallah. Let's see how much we can go and how much we can gain from this concept of orphans, inshallah.
How much we can have adab.
Inshallah, yes.
To put the Quranic ayats, verses in their right place and read them. Inshallah, we will do that. Try to do this. I have been thinking since this one subject is extending into third day, why we are extending it that much. The primary reason is, this is, I wanted to discuss this matter as an example. One example to be applied to all Islamic jurisprudence related ayat. So we have to have this one example properly studied so that we will apply it to other ayats. In other purposes, although all the verses related to Islamic jurisprudence, which is called a well-known fiqh, understanding and applying it accordingly, and also basing your understanding on the right evidence, not according to your capacity. You read the ayah, read the hadith narrations, especially in practical terms, because all the hadith narrations are related to the prophet's practice of the Qur'an. So it must be taken this side of the subject from the exemplary life of the Prophet ﷺ. Although these verses mostly, at the most, 5% of the Quran. But unfortunately, in the world, including the Muslim world as well, Quran is known and talked about mostly about these matters, fiqh matters. Why in Islam there is this? Why in Islam such a rule is? What is the meaning? Or how can we apply it to our life in this century now? Lots of questions around there. Not there is other subject, but I don't want to get into it. This Orientalist attitude, introducing Quran in a diverted way, developed an idea and quarreling about matters related to 5% side of the Quran, which is subject to ijtihad. It means you have to adapt the situation to a new creation, new time. This is this profession of the experts in fiqh. They will do it, ijtihad. So apply it to new circumstances. 5%, but everybody knows Quran for certain reasons, fiqh-related matters. No one talks about Tawhid. No one talks about really the real message in the old generations, old people's stories in the Quran, prophetic stories in the Quran. And what is the wisdom in them? Unfortunate. That's why I'm going into details in this particular one subject. So we left over yesterday. Let's ask now, who or what are the orphans that the Quran is talking about? It must be something that we didn't know. Not only they expect that we know, no, there must be something that we didn't know. What can it be according to the definition of the Quran and the maqasid al-Quran, purposes of the Quran? We always keep asking this in every verse of the Quran. We must ask this question: what is the universal message in it? All right. Now, just a summary, inshallah, we are going to talk. Uh, we mentioned this, just I will read it because it is the summary of what we have in the following in our understanding of the Quran, if we really want to understand the Quran. First, applications of the Sharia rules, welfare of the personal and social life, which is called al-hikmah, the wisdom in worldly benefits. Fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, now deals with this side of the matter, and it needs expertise. And this is not our subject because we are not here to pass rulings. And this is not my quality anyways. I'm not expert there. That is one side of it. Another side, by obeying the command of the Quran and protecting children who are orphaned, we acknowledge that my Creator is asking me to protect them. In the Quran, when I read, God asking me to protect them, so that I will protect them in obedience of my Creator. Look, not because I feel pity on them. No, no. My God is asking me to protect them, so I am doing this in obedience of my Creator. This will remind me that I should not take pride in protecting the orphans. I acknowledge that my feelings of protecting the orphans is provided by my creators. Therefore, by my creator, therefore I have to protect them in his name, not in my name. Now, we talked about it a lot. It is clear, I'm sure, in the minds of our audience. So, this is illah, the first illah. Then wisdom of the ruling connecting one's belief in God. Now, a Sharia. Now, the first one was Sharia. Now, I am connecting to Sharia at my personal level. It means my God is asking me to do this, and I am doing it not because of my feelings only, but in obedience of my Creator's command or asking me to do that. Now, so you can do something because you really believe it within yourself that I should do it. You can do it in the name of the authority. That is the difference. This is personal level, at the personal level or on the personal level. This is illah because while I am helping, protecting the orphan, I connect myself, my action, to God's obedience. That is first side of illah. It means the real reason why God is asking me, although I know it is in me. That there must be something more in this universal command of God, because this is personal level. Where is the universality? Three, where is the universal message that the Quran is giving us? This is called illah, practicing belief in God, a Sharia, at universal level.
Dr. Ali, may I interrupt you?
Of course.
Yeah, I think that, what you mentioned for the number two, it's very interesting to emphasize. When we look at the illah and hikmah, so hikmah is, as you mentioned, fiqh side. The illah side here is all about submitting to the will of the creator personally, which in a way, Islam is taslim. Like is when the Quran says for Ibrahim alayhi salam, is lahu aslim. He was told to submit. قال أسلمت لرب العالمين. So Islam, aslim, submission. So now you're saying that submission is submission to the will of the creator. And that's when I have the orphan, I'm helping because I'm submitting to the will of the creator, because he is the one helping the orphan, and he wants me in a way to be the means through which he is going to help the orphans. It's not, yeah, I'm just a means through which, exactly. So in that case, you're saying that the interesting part, what you are highlighting, this is the way for me to connect to my creator at the personal level, which means to feel his mercy, his kindness, his power, his wisdom coming through me. And when I'm experiencing his kindness, I'm saying, what an amazing creator who cares about orphans, who sends this to the orphan. It's, of course, it's not mine, it's him. So in this case, that experiential side, so you're saying that personal level, as I help orphans help me to connect to my creator. And I love that. I think that's beautiful. That's amazing, really.
So following Al-Attas, rahmahullah, I first said, anyways, rahmahullah, putting the word in adab, in its right place. So, but there is even more, Dr. Nezati. At the universal level, this personal education, how about the universal level? So, I just write this one here. Please write it down, your definition of orphan right now. Think about it, just 5 seconds. No, what do I think when I see orphan? Orphan, I'm writing it. What comes to my mind?
Let's them to ask in the chat. They can write it in chat. We can see what they are writing.
Yeah, let's see what they are saying, and I would like to hear it. But in a short time, inshallah.
Sorry.
Now, it is not an exam. It is not an exam. It is not
just
a
brief definition of what you think. What is your definition of orphan? Just write it down in chat, please.
It comes to your mind.
Correct. Okay.
Correct.
Did you see that? Yeah, it's basically it's a child without parents, unguided, someone who doesn't have a guardian. An orphan is someone who doesn't have a father, no father.
Yep.
I guess no mother as well, right? Not only father. Fatherless, it says that. Someone who needs protection and cut off, isolated. A person who does not have any worldly power or any kind of support. That's another definition.
They are all correct.
And someone says that reminds my neediness.
Oh, which is interesting as well, but in other perspective, in other window. Okay. They are all correct, Dr. Nejati, but for the universal dimension of the meaning of the Quran, God's speech, I think expands beyond that. Now, I brought this. So it was very difficult to find a picture that a parent is abusing his or in this case her child, abusing, fitting up. Now, we think parents are going to protect the baby or the children. But if an abnormal or for any reason, a parent abuses their own children or child, who can protect the child against the parents? Parents are expected to be protectors. Now, do you think a child in this position is orphan? There's no protector, as our friend wrote in the chat. That doesn't have a protector. Their parents can do everything. Now, I think, is the case clear or not?
I think so. I think so.
Now,
So you're saying that
a child can be in need of protection. It means an orphan in the hands of or before their own parents. Possible. Possible. Now, this is child. That doesn't have any protector now. Right? And there is another one here. How about this peacock? Is it orphan or not? Look at these people around them, how they regard them, how they see them. One of them says, I can get 2 kilos of meat from this. It seems as a proper merchandise. So, a value of the peacock, in his eyes, only 2 kilos of meat. That is the butcher. How about the merchant? Says, if I buy this for $50, I can sell it in California. They are the crazy people in California usually for 500. Great profit. Look, it turns the peacock into a merchandise piece again to sell. Well, the value of the peacock is $500 or $50 for him. How about the artist? What it says, if I can paint it with this sunlight just right, it's artistic thinking, I'll easily make $1,000 out of this picture. Right? And again, reduction to the value of the peacock. And how about the scientists? I'm going to deal with it specially because this is the main heart of the problem. But everybody treats the peacock from their own way, and no one can protect it. It is orphan, isn't it? There is no protector in this world. Yeah, no. So how about a believer? Oh, he says, when he said, oh my Lord, your artistry leaves us in awe. How magnificent is your creation. What happened? Who are the person of adept, Dr. Najat? Who is really putting the right of the peacock, existential right of the peacock into right place? Adept. I love this one. Rahmahullah again. Who is the person of adab here?
I think the last one, Imam, seems to do the right thing.
A believer.
Yes.
I asked a believer saying this, put it in a bubble. He did this. How about our genius scientist? But of course, not all scientists like this, secularist scientist. What does he do? It's just remarkable. His genetic adaptations are extraordinarily refined, a perfect expression of evolutionary fitness, nature's masterpiece. Uh, I think, I don't know whether it is right or wrong to say this in publicly. I asked Gemini to draw a, they call it image, for me, a scientist in a lab saying this. What was the result? I cannot do that. Be careful. I feel there are ideological matters going on at the same time in AI world. I cannot do that, he said. It said. It's very interesting. Can you try something as well, Dr. Nejati, saying, criticizing these evolutionists and scientists' false claims, baseless claims? Now, look, he is going to kill and get the take the genes or a genetic structure and uh, study it. But how about its beauty, the symmetry, and adapting to the nature? But how about the symmetry? Is it really necessary to have this symmetry, to have this beautiful appearance? Is it? Or killing the evidence of the creator? Now, in this world, peacock is orphan. The whole universe is orphan. That's why I think this is very dreadful. Unfortunately, we deal the other creatures here as we want. We interpret them as we want. We insult them, seeing them as a piece of meat, piece of matter. This is what we should understand, that the universe, everything in the universe, left to our usage as orphan. We can say anything, we can insult them, we can misuse them, and not let them function what they are created for. It is the biggest crime committed against innocent beings, denying their mission and dishonoring their qualities manifested in their creation. This is amazing. On the head, there is something physically, it means I don't know what, but definitely it is the perfect design to make it most beautiful. I really love the picture. Now, that is why we are coming here.
Dr. Ali?
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to, I think there's, that's, if you can stay on this picture, it's very, very interesting in a way that how secular ideology is abusing its positions and abusing the beautiful creation. And in this regard, that's basically creation that's out there, unprotected, are being used and studied by those secular scientists and abused because they are using those for their own belief, for their own ideology. As a matter of fact, this morning, I was, having a short tour next to the seaside and reflecting, and I saw some birds, and I stopped and reflect on them. And it reminded me the type of bird that I had it in eastern Turkey, a stork. Now, stork is very interesting bird that they migrate every fall to the Africa. And I asked AI, get some facts. And the fact was like, oh, they migrate around 10,000 kilometers, or it takes around 2 months to travel that. Then I said, how do they do? And the answer, oh, through evolution over time, they gain this instinct and they act based on their instincts. And I said, look, I cannot go back, with my mind and eyes and intelligence. I cannot go back 1,000 kilometer and find my exact place without the GPS or without asking someone. How does birds do that? It says, oh, this is just evolutionary. So in a way that when I try to push it, the AI, it never really, and even it never give me a concrete evidence. I said, like, did you find out any GPS in the mind of those birds? That why the scientists will claim that why didn't we gain such instinct that we can just travel without really using GPS? So I think that's what you mentioned here. Unfortunately, those who do not believe in God, they attribute the creation of God to everything other than God, and they completely abuse the creation. And unfortunately, believers, in a way, they leave those orphans to those secular materialist scientists, and therefore those orphans are being abused for the sake of just money and power. So I think to put them in the right places, that means we as a believer need to take back the study of the universe and put everything in its right place. And I think that's the concept that you're bringing into is a perfect example of this.
Yeah. You reminded me the verse ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا. Oh, my Rabb, my Lord, you have not created this for nothing, in vain, with no purpose. Isn't that an insult? If now there are lots of things to talk about this innocent creation, orphan creation in this world. Of course, there is an owner, but owner left us free, so we can do it as the mother was. The child is created by Allah. Allah is the protector of. But here in this physical world, it seems to be there is no protector. So we are free here. We are responsible for our free choice here. At the end, we will be taken into account, like everyone, like all these people seeing the creation as vain. Isn't that insult, Dr. Nejati, to the Creator, saying that this is nothing. If you have I don't know, anything very valuable, and very useful, meaningful, and put it on the table, and someone comes and says, what is this meaningless thing it is? Don't you feel insulted? What do you mean? What we have done is meaningless, purposeless. This is just a myth, evolved in time. Anyway, I think the case is clear. But these words came to my mind when I get excited that we treat the orphan, the universe, as an orphan as we want, and we don't realize that we are really transgressing the rights of the things and also insulting the Creator. So this one, let's read this one. Remind it with this verse.
وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ الملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون.
صدق الله. صدق الله. Now, when your Lord told the angels, I am putting a successor on earth, they said, that's what the Quranic message. How can you put someone there who will cause damage and bloodshed? When we celebrate your praise and proclaim your holiness. Now remember this picture. The peacock says, I am here. I am celebrating, oh my Creator, your praise and proclaiming your muqaddas, Qudsiyah, holiness. Look at what this man is doing. Bloodshedding, killing me, and regarding me, this is important, as dead, lifeless, meaningless thing. Happened by itself, accidentally, as a result of random choices of unconscious matter. That's what they claim. And killing the meaningful, speaking creation and making it dead. That is bloodshed that unbelievers are committing. That is what the angels say. It means, peacock says, in its creation, where the names of its creator manifested and introduced and proclaimed to everyone, to human mind, look at how beautifully I am made by my creator. So appreciate my creator. I cannot make myself this beautiful. Appreciate my creator. Is my existence automatically appreciating it? And this man is bloodshedding. It is making it dead, meaningless, not necessarily slaughtering it, turning it into a meaningless mass. Isn't that the angels uh, really claiming in a right way that these human beings, some of them, not all, that's why we will read the rest of the verse now. We are proclaiming your praise, your holiness, but Allah said, He said, Allah said, God said, I know what you don't know. There will be some of them really appreciate it. And in all aspects that they will read my name's manifested qualities in every creation, they will join. They will also join your celebration. Don't worry about it. So I know what I have. You don't know. So it doesn't mean that we have to quarrel how the angels knew that we were going to bloodshed in the world. No, 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 no. This is not the point. It says, look, human beings, be careful. While my creation is proclaiming my sublime qualities, you can turn me into a dead body by saying you are a meaningless being. And universe is here, orphan in our hands. We can treat it as we want, but the consequences are very costly. That will be very costly. If you give a gift to somebody, Dr. Najati, which is very valuable, and he really needs it. If he throws it into dustbin, what do you do? Will you give it again? Another gift?
I don't think so.
Now that is hell. No more. Finish. Because I gave you whole universe, and just to utilize it to get to know who you are and who I am, and you just put it into a meaningless dustbin. This is meaningless, happened to be by itself. What up? Then it's very, very costly, I think.
Dr. Ali, may I add one example for that? I think this is really very interesting point. If you can go back to the previous peacock picture, I really like that, the peacock one. So imagine that we give this a greatest artist, and greatest artist make a painting of the peacock and have exhibition of the artwork. And now imagine that you go to this museum, you are touring this museum and seeing this exhibition of this artwork. Now, obviously, the point here is that the art is for you, not for cows, because cows do not understand from art. You have the sense of art. So when you enter this place, you're supposed to look at the art, enjoy it, appreciate, and praise the artists. But now imagine you enter the exhibition and you start to say, no, there is no artist. And this artwork, it just happened by itself. Or maybe it was just the brush and paint and canvas somehow with the wind come together over billions of years, just turned to such beautifully look, art work, but there's really no artist. You're actually insulting the artists that who actually know your futra and know your taste and make this art to please you. That now, rather than being thankful to the artist, you are essentially insulting the artist. And you're saying, look, I don't even think it is you. I think it's the brush make it, is the canvas make it, is a paint make it. That is complete nonsense. And that is a complete insult. And then why does artist should invite you to another exhibition? Why do you think you deserve to be invited to another place to enjoy even more? So in this regard, the angels was saying that we do look at your artwork, we do praise you and say, Ya Jamil, Ya Kareem, Ya Hakim, Ya Alim. So we know it's you because we see your qualities manifested in them. But those creatures that you create is going to come up with a dumb explanation and attribute your amazing artwork to the material part and component and thinking there is no artist behind that and treating this just as a piece of merchandise or piece of just material part and study each one of them in detail, but no mentioning of you at all, no praise for you at all. So why do you invite them to this place? I see that was really in a way, the message of the angels, or that they had it. And I feel they were not wrong, except when Allah says, yes, maybe most are like what you mentioned, but there are few. As long as there are some exceptional, I'm going to create perhaps the whole things for them because they are going to do praise in a way even you can't do it. Therefore, I'm creating them. And I think that is really amazing. It's very, very beautiful. I just want to edit this too.
In your beautiful real life example, all the pieces of arts are orphaned. You can treat them as they want, as you want. Seems to be. But the artist is recording it, how you did, and accordingly, he will give you or not. If you appreciate the piece of anything, the gift that you give even better. That's paradise, symbolically speaking. Now, if somebody says this is meaningless, there is no purpose in it, just happen to be by itself and not really utilizing it for the purpose of it is created, to introduce his creator to you, what do? You don't give it again. And that is the symbolic expression or definition of hell. Nothing. Whatever you desire, you will never get. Now, Alhamdulillah, Allah says, you don't know. I know that there will be some believers will appreciate it. You will see them, all these prophets and followers of the prophets will really disclose what Allah says here. Now, this قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلم. Here, why I put this ayah? Because ayah says, of course, let me see, it is here to تسبحوا. Yeah, let's listen to it.
تسبح له السماوات السبع والأرض ومن فيهن وإن من شيء إلا يسبح بحمده ولكن لا تفقهون تسبيحهم إنه كان حليما غفورا.
Now, the seven heavens and the earth and everyone in them, the men فيهن, glorify him. Now, peacock glorifies him. Huh? So there is not a single thing that doesn't celebrate his praise, with the angelic side of the existence of the peacock glorifies. And everything is really announcing the qualities of their creator and introducing them to conscious beings, to human beings. Now, what is important, yesterday I worked on it, especially Sabbaha. Sabbaha is different. Therefore, is swimming. But Sabbaha is glorifying, making tasbih. You are perfect. Saying this. All those Quranic words are 92 words are used in the Quran. 92 times used in the same root word. 88 of them are in the form of sabbaha, related to creatures, beings. It means they are alive. They are really representing the angelic side of it. Quran says melekutiyat. So they are announcing the qualities of their creator. And the Quran repeats this function of the universe 88 times. It must be very important because universe is orphan in this world, in this creation. You can treat it as you want. Look, those people who want to deny the creator, they insult the creator, says that it is meaningless. Those who want to appreciate it, they do it. This is up to people, free. That is why it reminded me this ayah that every being is created for a purpose to introduce its creator to us. So we should be very careful because they seem to be having no creator, no protector, orphan in our hands. Now, this last verse that we are going to emphasize on, how the Quran is really speaking so nicely, simply. There is no excuse for us that we didn't get the message. Arabic language is so hard to understand the Quran. No, 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 no. Look at this verse. It's beautiful. I really like this example that the Quran gives, very simple examples. Everybody can understand. Misal. That's what, when you see the Quran's examples giving to us, they are very, everybody, you don't have to be a literate man. Even you may not know how to read and write, still you understand. You benefit from the Quran. Here, yeah.
إن الذين تدعون من دون الله عباد أمثالكم فدعوهم فليستجيبوا لكم إن كنتم صادقين ألهم أرجل يمشون بها أم لهم أيدي يبطشون بها أم لهم أعين يبصرون بها أم لهم أعين يبصرون بها أم لهم آذان يسمعون بها قل ادعوا شركاء ثم كيدون فلا تنظرون.
I really love Quran speaking in and giving the very simple examples that we should not have any excuse. We don't understand. We didn't know. We didn't really understand Arabic because we don't know Arabic. We didn't understand the Quran because we didn't know Arabic. No, 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 no. Here it is. Those you call upon instead of God, they are servants, ibad. That is the word struck my attention. Now, the first time when I read this ayah, ibad here, they are making ibadah like you and me, according to their capacity. Dr. Najati, what do you think? Are they making ibadah? Yes, they are ibad. So they are ibad. Why I said ibad, servants, what does it mean? Created beings subservient to God's will, like you and me. When you obey the fiqh rules, for example, you are making ibadah. Huh? When you look at something and appreciate the manifested qualities on on that thing, you what do? You are making ibadah, another type of ibadah. And also, for example, to the peacock, in its own existence, Quran says this matter, although matter, but it is making its own ibadah. So angels are prostrating before God, they are making their ibadah. So they are subservient to God's will, like you, emsalukum. Like you, Dr. Nejati, can you imagine? Yeah? A tree is making ibadah like you. When you pray, when you obey God's commands and whatever your ubudiyya requires. Now, like you, call upon them, those creatures, then and let them respond to you if what you claim is true. Do you really think that they are conscious beings? They are doing choosing. It's very important. Deciding their future, trying to fit the environment, adapt themselves to the natural conditions so that they will survive. Do you think the stone is trying to survive by itself? So look at the Quran gives symbolizes it in a very simple way and says, do they have any feet to walk with? Do they have any quality? Do they have hands to hold with, or eyes to see with, or ears to hear with? Do they have any qualities? But Quran speaks to everyone, so that no one will be left without evidence. For example, Quran doesn't say, does the atom or quantum any free will to choose? People say, what are you talking about? But any feet to walk with, any hands to hold with, any eyes to see. So they have no quality of themselves. So if someone comes to your art exhibition hall, says that the paint must have been evolved throughout 13 billion years and wanted to get the best position to be loved and to be survived. And the Quran says, very simply, does the paint have any feet to walk with, any hand to hold with, any eye to see with, any ear to hear with, any will, any knowledge? What is going to happen tomorrow for it, according to adapt itself? Now Quran says, now very, very, very challenging way. Now, Qul, you and I, and the Prophet, of course, at first, everyone who receives the message, Udu شركائكم ثم كيدوني فلا تنظرون. Now, call upon, call upon your shuraka, call them, call. Shureka, what shureka means? Sharik. We cannot say that, of course, we are reading the Quran from universal meaning perspective. In Mecca, they had some idols there, but there is no Meccan conditions here. There are no idols here. Whoever assigns any, those to whom you ascribe God-like qualities, as if every quantum, they are now talking about, quanta, whatever you call it, atom, let's say simple, every atom has the quality to know what's going on in the universe, what happened in the past, what will happen in the future. That's what the quantum mechanics scientists are saying. And adjusting himself accordingly into the best position in the universe. What are they doing? As if an atom has the quality to know all the universe, to have the absolute free will to adapt itself to the conditions of the universe. Is there any sign, as you said before, Dr. Najati, is there any sign of these qualities coming from the matter itself, originating from matter itself? That is why I understand shirk. If somebody ascribes God-like qualities to anything of this innocent, orphan matter, then this is called, in the language of the Quran, mushrik. Mushrik. All the secularist scientists' language is full of shirk. That's what the Quran says. And bring up your evidence and then conspire against me without delay. It will challenge what the Quranic message is giving to us. Quran challenging it. Come on, bring out your evidence, not your claim. It must have been. It must have been. Show me the quality originating from the paint to be the source of art. Any artistry quality. I think we are done this orphan subject today. We will go into tomorrow. What? Another subject. Women, marriage problems, and see. Okay. Inshallah, that's for tomorrow.
Yeah, I
right.
put it a questions on the screen since we're covering this orphan for 3 days. Let's see what is the understanding. So based on the 3 day session, what is the deeper meaning of orphan in the Quranic usage? So A, orphans are only children who have lost one or both parent or duties to provide good care. Orphan B, orphan include anyone who needs protection regardless of age, not necessarily the children. Orphans are anything that appear has no protector. We shall care for them. And D, orphan include anything created apparently with no protector. We shall honor their mission, which is to demonstrate the attribute of their creator and also use them responsibly. Let's see. So far, everyone's choosing D.
Obvious, isn't it? Of course, it is obvious. One way.
Yeah,
That's one way. Yeah, mashallah, mashallah, everyone.
yeah, mashallah. I think so. And everyone who attending that, that they thinks the D is the correct one. Oh, we get 1B too. Okay.
Yeah. But orphans include anyone who needs protection regardless of age or not necessarily the children only. Anyone, of course, they are not making a mistake by choosing this because, practically speaking, from fiqh perspective, it is correct. But it doesn't mean that the universal message is limited with this. Cannot be. Quran cannot be read in this way. Otherwise, Quran will turn into a Torah law book only. But Quran is Iman book, inshallah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm ending the poll. That's very good. Alhamdulillah overall. Let me close it. So let me briefly summarize before we hear dua from you. I think the key part is today, as we're ending our journey on the orphans, that we came to clear understanding that the entire creation giving to us in our faculty or bodily organs and any objects in the universe in a way like an orphans. And we are supposed to treat them in a proper way, put them in right place. And that treatment essentially to see them, they are abd, they are making tasbih. So in that case, that once we see their ubudiyah, which means that we see they are like us in full submission to the Creator, and we see the quality that reflected in them is the quality of the Creator, then in this case, that essentially we're treating them very nicely. But if we look at them and give the quality in them to themselves, or its material component or forces or evolution, whatever, that means we are abusing those orphans. So, and we say in a way, we live in an age, the abuse of orphans is widespread everywhere. And it is, in this regard, it is duty on us as a believer to look at those Quranic message and to first, perceive the creation in a right way and perceive the quality within them as the manifested quality of the Creator and put everything in the right place. So, and inshallah, we make dua, this programs in a way is helping us to do exactly that. Okay.
In conclusion, excuse me.
Okay.
In conclusion, وَلَا تَتَبَدَّلُ الْخَبِيثَ بِالطَّيِّبِ. Why Quran says, don't exchange your worthless possessions for their orphans' valuable properties. What is worthless here? This is what Allah is saying in this. This claim, remarkable, is a perfect expression of evolution, of worthless property of this man. But how about tayyib, orphans' good qualities, right? Let's how the Quran should be read at a universal level, not excluding the fiqh application of it. No, it is just 5% of it. So, but worthless. Our personal interpretations are worthless. What the creation proclaims is the valuable. Don't mix it. Don't mix it. Don't replace it. That's what the Quran is telling us. It's a beautiful ayah, needs this understanding, inshallah, and even more. But we are just getting the really gist of the message of the Quran, inshallah, by following a real or a correct method of understanding of the Quran, appropriate to its definition. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
عليكم
Bismillah.
السلام. عليكم نك دعاء إن شاء الله.
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. See you tomorrow inshallah.
إن شاء الله وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.